Alright. I've been having some technical difficulties, sorry about that, but I think we're back now. Welcome. Gonna be working through some more Portswigger WebAcademy, and just give me a second here. I gotta pull up chat because I don't know what the heck's happening on Twitch. It says I already have chat open. I must have broke it. Alright, well, let's get rid of that window maybe. I don't have the ability to see chat. Is this not streaming? Let's watch.
Hopefully fellow streamer, and
Interesting. See if this is actually working. OBS says I'm live. Twitch says I'm live. It's working. I just can't see chat. So, apologies if you're trying to chat. I won't be able to see it for this session. However, we are going to work on Portswigger. That's not what I wanted. Here we go. So maybe that'll be good. Maybe it's good that I can't see chat. We'll be able to get through this a little bit quicker. Not that I don't like talking to you guys. I actually really enjoy talking to you guys. It's been fun, but it's just not working right now, and I'll have to troubleshoot it later. So I'm gonna go into the academy. Maybe not. All labs. Let's go to the learning path. It's like I've never used this before. We are in the authentication labs, and we're in the pass. Did we finish that last one? Indeed we did. Alright, just a little bit of reading here about basic auth, and then we'll go on to, I believe it's multi-factor auth. So HTTP basic authentication, although fairly odd, it is relatively simple, and its relative simplicity and ease of implementation means you might sometimes see HTTP basic authentication being used. I actually know of a few web apps off the top of my head that use basic auth. In HTTP basic authentication, the client receives an authentication token from the server, which is constructed by concatenating the username and password and encoding them in base 64. This token is stored and managed by the browser, which automatically adds it to the authorization header every subsequent request as follows: authorization, basic, base 64, username, password. For a number of reasons, this is generally not considered a secure authentication method. Firstly, it involves repeatedly sending the user's login credentials with every request. Unless a website also implements HSTS, user credentials are open to being captured in a man-in-the-middle attack. So that's very important there. HSTS, I don't remember all the specifics, but it is a defense mechanism in your browser. So each browser implements a different HSTS list, and the domains that are on that list have to abide by the HSTS policy, so they're essentially protected from man-in-the-middle attacks. User credentials are open to being captured by, man-in-the-middle attacks. In addition, implementations of HTTP basic authentication often don't support brute force protection, as the token consists exclusively of static values. This can leave it vulnerable to being brute forced. HTTP basic authentication is also particularly vulnerable to session-related exploits, notably CSRF, against which it offers no protection on its own. In some cases, exploiting vulnerable HTTP basic authentication might only grant an attacker access to a seemingly uninteresting page. However, in addition to providing a further attack surface, the credentials exposed in this way may be reused in more confidential contexts. So think Ashley Madison breach, for example. I know I keep coming back to this, but to me that was a pretty big breach because it included some government credentials. And I guess I never heard if they're valid or invalid credentials, but if there was any credential reuse, that's some pretty, it's not a big deal to get access to somebody's Ashley Madison, but it's a pretty big deal to get access to, the internal systems they have access to. So next up, we got vulnerabilities in multi-factor. Maybe I'll take a little minute here and see if I can get chat figured out. Ooh. We'll do reset docs. I can see stats. Something is wonky with my Twitch. I'm not sure what it is. But I can't see. It's like it doesn't know that I'm connected to Twitch. It's not even letting me pull up chat. So I guess to bypass that, maybe I could just open up Twitch and play the chat in a little sidebar here. If anybody's watching and you're trying to chat, don't worry. I'll be right there. I'm on my way. See, now that's funky too. Twitch is taking a while to load for me. It's like I'm having bandwidth issues or DNS issues or something. Alright, y'all, I got chat open. So, if anybody's chatting, I'll hear you. Well, maybe. I'll look every once in a while. Maybe I'll see you chatting. And let's go back to the work that we're working on here. Vulnerabilities in multi-factor authentication. In this section, we'll look at some of the vulnerabilities that can occur in multi-factor authentication mechanisms. We've also provided several interactive labs to demonstrate how you could exploit these vulnerabilities in multi-factor authentication. Many websites rely exclusively on single-factor authentication using a password to authenticate users. However, some require users to provide or to prove their identity using multiple authentication factors. We all know what 2FA is, probably don't need to dig into that at all. Verifying biometric factors is impractical for most websites. However, it's increasingly common to see both mandatory and optional two-factor authentication based on something you know and something you have, such as a password and a fingerprint. This usually requires users to enter both traditional password and temporary verification code from an out-of-band physical device in their possession, like a text message, for example. While it is sometimes possible for an attacker to obtain a single knowledge-based factor, such as a password, being able to simultaneously obtain other factor from an out-of-band source is considerably less likely, also more difficult, and if you're not being directly targeted, it's a good way to fend off like the large attacks, right? If they're going for breadth instead of depth, don't be the low-hanging fruit to protect yourself. For this reason, two-factor authentication is demonstrably, I don't know how to say that, but demonstration conjugated. Authentication is demonstrably more secure than single-factor authentication. However, as with any security measure, it is only ever as secure as its implementation. Poorly implemented two-factor can be beaten or even bypassed entirely, just as single-factor can. This is interesting. So other than throwing like a brute force or a dictionary, I don't know what you would call it, a number generated attack, I've never really thought about bypassing 2FA. But I think most times the code times out after like there's some time, and I imagine it would become invalid if you submit too many. So that's the thing in my head. I imagine all these things that would stop it, and those are probably remediation, but if it's poorly implemented, we could still hack it. It is also worth noting that the full benefits of multi-factor are only achieved by verifying multiple different factors, right? So we can't have two passwords. That's not the same as something you have and something you are. Or something you have and something you know, or whatever it is. Verifying the same factor in two different ways is not true two-factor authentication. Email-based 2FA is one such example. Although the user has provided a password and a verification code, accessing the code only relies on them knowing the login credentials for their email account. Therefore, knowledge of the authentication factor is simply being verified twice. That does make sense, right? So in this hypothetical scenario, trying to log into email, and then you get an email about the code. So if you're already in the email, well, I don't know. If you're already in the email, you don't really... There might be a logic flaw in this statement here, but I think I see what they're saying. If somebody already has access to the system, they're already in. Like, it's kind of a moot point. Two-factor authentication tokens. Verification codes are usually read by the user from a physical device of some kind. Many high security websites now provide users with a dedicated device for this purpose, such as an RSA token or a keypad device that you might use to access your online banking or work laptop. In addition to being purpose-built for security, these dedicated devices also have the advantage of generating the verification code directly. It is also common for websites to use a dedicated mobile app, such as Google Authenticator, for the same reason. And the school I attend, Dakota State University, they have this. They use, I forget the name of it, but there is some authentication app on your phone that you can get. And I think it's actually required now. So you go to log in, it sends a push to your phone, and then you have to say, yeah, that was me. Google does the same thing when you're trying to log in. If you set up 2FA, you'll just get a notification and you can click, yeah, it's me. I really enjoy that. That's a smooth way to do it. What I don't enjoy is that everybody seems to need a different authenticator app, and I don't like installing your app on my phone. So let's consolidate down to one. I mean, it's a single point of failure, but that'd be nice. On the other hand, some websites send verification codes to users' mobile phone via a text message. While this is technically still verifying the factor of something you have, it is open to abuse, right? Cell phone or SIM cloning. Firstly, the code is being transmitted via SMS rather than being generated by the device itself. This creates a potential for the code to be intercepted. There's also a risk of SIM swapping, whereby an attacker fraudulently obtains a SIM card with the victim's phone number. The attacker would then receive all SMS messages sent to the victim, including the one containing the verification code, bypassing two-factor authentication. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. So we've read the theory. Let's get into some of the hands-on. At times, the implementation of two-factor authentication is flawed to the point where it can be bypassed entirely. If the user is first prompted to enter a password and then prompted to enter verification code on a separate page, the user is effectively in a logged-in state before they have to enter the verification code. In this case, it is worth testing to see if you can directly skip to logged-in only pages after completing the first auth step. Occasionally, you will find that the website doesn't actually check whether or not you completed the second step before loading the page. So I think we're just using a form of forced browsing here in order to get logged in. So it's going to give us the credentials right off the bat. I was going to install Parrot and start using that. I like Parrot. But honestly, it's the same. It's a little bit more like Mac, but it's the same thing, right? When you're hacking, it doesn't matter what your background is. It doesn't matter what your toolbar looks like. The tools that you're using and the techniques that you're using, mostly the techniques that you're using is what matters. The tools can help you with your workflow and stuff, but you can get all the same tools on a bunch of different distros, so it really doesn't make a difference. Now, that being said, I do understand that, like, you know, if you're using a different environment, I'm gonna get out of that thought. I'm not gonna continue on that. Let's just work on this lab, and we'll get it done. So it looks like we can log in as Wiener Peter. We have an email client up top. So we can see our code. We can enter our code, and then we can click login and see where it takes us. So it takes us to my account. So the idea here is we're going to log in as Carlos, and then so we'll have to log out as Peter. I won't even need Burp for this one. This one I think we can just do on the client. We'll click login. And then we'll force browse to my account. Perfect, that's exactly what it wanted us to do. So we've got that one out of the way. I like that. You know, I was pretty bummed that we're starting over on another module, but I do like the apprentice challenges. They're usually pretty simple to get through, good confidence builders, and usually some pretty cool stuff you start learning. You know, it's like your first exposure to a new attack, for example, so it's usually pretty exciting at that point. Once you start getting to the expert stuff, it's like, how do I do this? How do I do this? Where's the write-up? For me anyways, that's personally how I feel about this. Alright, sometimes flawed logic. What is this? Flawed two-factor logic. Sometimes flawed logic in two-factor auth means that after a user has completed the initial login step, the website doesn't adequately verify that the same user is completing the second step. For example, the user logs in with their normal credentials in the first step as follows. We're logging in as Carlos, and there's nothing else. You know, it's telling us we're on the first step page. There's no cookie associated with the login that we can see. Then they are assigned a cookie that relates to their account before being taken to the second step. So here we say that it's Carlos. So I assume what we can do here then is modify this cookie to be Wiener, for example, and then we can use our Wiener 2FA to log in, possibly, is what they're saying. They are assigning a cookie that relates to their account before being taken to the second step of the login process, and that cookie's right here, so it'll be sent with the request as well. When submitting the verification code, the request uses this cookie to determine which account the user is trying to access. So here we have the verification code, and then we still have account Carlos, but we have a valid verification code. Change the cookie to be someone else, and it may give us access to someone else. That's exactly what's happening. Let's give it a shot. All right, so we have valid credentials. We're still trying to take over Carlos's account. Once again, we won't need burp for this one. We could probably do it without burp, but to modify the request, we probably will use burp. Wiener, Peter. We'll go ahead and log in. Well, let's open up the email client in another window. We'll log in, and then we will probably should have turned proxy off before, or turned proxy on before doing that, but it's all good. We can just refresh, I think. All right, we have a cookie verify Wiener. Let's change it to verify. Oh, this is just the GET request, so we want to continue on with that. We'll turn that one, let that one through. Go to our server here, check our email. Goodness. Probably should just like keep Intercept turned off until I absolutely need it for sure. All right, we have two codes. Here is our current code. We're gonna go ahead and paste that in there, and then we'll turn Intercept off right before we send that request so we can catch it. We'll change it from Wiener to Carlos, and we should be good to go. Incorrect security code. All right. Let's try with this one. 1023, 1023, 57, 58. Is there another one in here that we don't see? I wonder if we can just do the my account again. Probably not. Alright, well, let's try it again. We wanted Wiener, Peter. Never save. So now it's asking for our code. We'll put the code in, intercept it, and change it to Carlos. And let's send this to repeater 200. Okay. Incorrect security code. Please enter your 4-digit security code. So maybe we need to modify the request a little bit earlier than that. When though? I don't think we could actually. Oh, on the maybe the GET request. We could modify the GET request. So let's go back and do that. We'll turn Intercept off, make sure we're all logged out and stuff. So now we'll log in as Wiener, Peter. This time we'll turn Intercept on right away. So we'll switch this to Carlos. And then we will forward it. We'll turn Intercept off. Then we should get a new email here. Copy the code. We'll add it in. And then we'll turn Intercept back on. And let's change this to Carlos again. And we'll forward. Incorrect security code. What's going on? The lab's two-factor auth is vulnerable due to its flawed logic. To solve the lab, access Carlos's account page. You also have access to the email server to receive your 2FA verification code. Let's take a look at the hint. Carlos will not attempt to log in to the website himself. Huh. Carlos will not try to log into the website himself. So we need to do it for him? I don't know. Can we switch the credentials? I'm kind of confused by this one. There's a couple different things we could try. What's the exploit server? Is this Intercept still on? Yeah, let's turn Intercept off. I don't think we'll need this actually. How are we gonna log in? Let's see, 4-digit code. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can just like log in as normal first. Let's see what that looks like. We got intruder or Intercept turned off. Wiener, Peter. Grab the code. And then we'll log in. Okay, it is working. So let's take a look at the history and see. Email. So this is the exploit server, the email server. Login to. That's where we send our code. Session. I wonder if this is like some base 64 encoding maybe. Indeed, it is not. Encode as base 64. This is not something that's encoded. Let's take a look at the example again. Maybe I oversimplified it in my head and that's why I'm not understanding it. So we're getting set cookie account Carlos. Cookie account Carlos. Post login steps second. Vulnerable website. Cookie account Carlos. Cookie account victim user. So the code stays the same. And we're just changing it when we submit the code. Let's try that way. Intercept, we'll turn intercept off. I'm going to split screen this so it's a little bit easier to go back and forth. Two-factor. There's our email server. We're going to log out. Sorry, there's supposed to be some storms in my area tonight, so I don't know how long I'll be on here. I want to have the radar pulled up, keep an eye on it. I probably won't hear it happening with headphones in, so. The history of swigging ports. That's interesting, because I actually wanted to know the history of the namesake. Let's read about that a little bit. The discovery of ports date back to the late 17th century when British sailors stumbled upon the drink in Portugal and then stumbled even more slowly home with several more bottles. Okay, so this is alcohol related, it seems like, which is, I mean, that's cool, that's good fun and stuff. For some reason I was thinking it was more like swigging is like taking a brief sip, and I thought it was going to be like scanning ports maybe, but turns out it's not. It's just kind of a funny play on words, I guess. All right, let's go ahead and get to the My Account page. We're going to log in as Wiener Peter. We're going to capture the authentication or the second factor authentication. So there's where we need to submit our security code. Krusty Krab. Oh, 0783. So we'll switch this over to Carlos. And then we will forward the request. Incorrect security code. I'm running out of ideas here. I've tried it a couple different ways. Zero 0783. Let's intercept every request in the login sequence and see what we're missing here. So Wiener Peter, let's say verify Carlos for this. And then we'll turn intercept off. See if we get a new one. I think that might have been it. We needed to modify verify before on the login. Let's go ahead and send that, and we'll verify as Carlos. Forward it. Incorrect code. Come on. What's going on? Maybe it's not actually trying the, well, it has to be trying the credentials. That's how it's sending us the email. What's this security WebSocket key? Looks to be some base 64. Okay, it's not really anything valuable. I'm just gonna go for the answer then. Obviously this isn't one that I'm gonna figure out. With burp running, login as your own account and investigate the 2FA verification process. Notice that the post 2 login request, the verify parameters also determine which user account's being accessed. Log out of your account. Send a get login 2 request to burp repeater. Change the value of verify parameter to Carlos and send the request. This ensures temporary 2FA is generated for Carlos. I thought we did this. Isn't this what we did? Let's try again. We'll turn on Intercept. We're going to do a get request for Wiener Peter. We're going to say verify Carlos. And username is Wiener. Password is Peter. So we can forward this, or yeah, I think forward does what I think it does, right? It's sending a modified request. We'll say Carlos. And Carlos. And then we will turn Intercept off for a second while we get this. Zero 0938. 0938. Change verify to Carlos. And then we'll forward it. I'm very confused. Very confused. Let's turn Intercept off. We'll get back to the login page. We'll follow step by step and see what was going wrong. With burp running, log into your own account and investigate the 2FA process. Notice that the post, so we already have this. If we look back quite a ways here, I think it was this one here. Oh yeah, here's the my account page. That might actually have been from our last one. Nope, this is from ours. Okay, so we have login. We're sending Wiener, Peter, verify as Wiener. The response said verify as Wiener. So login 2, we also have verify Wiener. Well, that's the get request for login 2. So we sent it as Wiener. And then for email, it's just sending out the email, I think. Login 2, this is a post request to login 2. And we're providing our code that we got emailed. We're not changing the Wiener. And it successfully logged us in, I think. 200 OK. Incorrect security code. I'm gonna try something quick. I wonder if this is just because I'm using burp incorrectly. So let's inspect this. We'll take a look at the password field. We have a nav header, notification header. Here's our form. Username, password. So let's submit. Actually, let's put this back on. We'll turn this back on. We'll make sure that Intercept is turned off. and we'll just examine in the history here. So we're gonna send Wiener Peter, and then we should be able to take a look at it again. Inspect, post, name, MFA code, required, button, submit. There's no hidden stuff here, so we actually do need to do some burp. I guess we could just modify our cookie before sending the request, but something wonky's happening. Log out of your account. Here's the attack. Send a get to login to using request to burp repeater. We have to do it in repeater, it says. So let's try it again using repeater. We'll go back to my account, and then we'll log in as Wiener Peter. We'll turn on Intercept, send this over to repeater, and then let's change this to Carlos. So it's still saying verify Wiener here, but we can change that. And then we will show in browser. Show in browser. There we go. Copy that. We'll put it here. We'll turn proxy off. And there goes the other request. The other request went through because I turned Intercept off. So we'll turn Intercept back on. And then actually we're just going to get our credential or our second factor here. I have no idea. If this works, I have no idea why. Send this over to repeater. And then we'll that's already changed to Carlos. And we'll go ahead and send it. 200 OK. Incorrect security code. Send the get login to request to repeater. So just the login to, just the second one. Boop boop. Let's start over again. Turn Intercept off. Go to my account. So we're gonna log in as Wiener Peter, and then we're gonna send this post request or modify that post request. Let's go ahead and get our code. 1249. Let's turn Intercept on. 1249. Let's double check, make sure we got the right code. 1249, and we'll intercept that. We'll send it to repeater. And then in repeater, we're going to change this over to Carlos. And then we'll send it. Incorrect. Something here is janky. Send the request. This ensures a temporary 2FA. Oh, send the get login to. Okay. We didn't do that right. So let's go back and start over again. It's okay. It's okay. Learning. Let's log out. Username is Wiener Peter. And we'll log in. So we're posting the login. It doesn't say to modify this. So we'll go ahead and forward it. Now this is the one we want to modify. We'll send that over to repeater. and then we'll change verify to Carlos, and we'll send that request. So now we should get an email. Let's see. Can we just render that? Please enter the 4-digit code. Turn that off. We'll resend the request. Our code is still 1249 apparently. Did I send that? I think I sent that. I can't interact with it. Let's, in current browser session, copy that. Oh, we need to have proxy on for that to work. Let's go here and we'll do drop all. Drop all, drop all. That's not an option. So we'll just drop until we can't drop no more. And then we'll put in this request. There we go. So here we should be able to enter. I can't believe we don't have a new code though. 1249 was the last one. There's a new one. 0200. And then let's read the instructions here again quick. So in the get for verify, we're changing to Carlos. I'm a little confused about why they want us to log out and log in so many different times. Get login to request to burp repeater, change the value of verify parameter to Carlos and send the request. This ensures that a temporary 2FA code is generated for Carlos. Go to the login page and enter your username and password. Then submit an invalid 2FA code. Send the post login request to burp intruder. In burp intruder, set verify to Carlos and add a payload position to the MFA. Oh, we're brute forcing. Okay, I see what's happening. So we don't, when we set verify to Carlos on that first login to get request, we're not getting the email for Carlos. So we keep getting invalid because I think this makes sense now. We'll try it without. And we can talk as we do it because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm misunderstanding it still. We're going to log in as Wiener Peter. And then we'll go back because actually we need to modify the GET request. So we'll log in as Wiener Peter. We're going to forward the first request. This GET login to, we're going to set it to Carlos. And we'll go ahead and forward that. Let's see, this is a GET request. We'll change this to Carlos as well. Now it wants our code, so we're gonna put 1111 in here, and then we'll set this to Carlos. And we'll send it to intruder. And then we'll clear all of our positions. We'll set this as a position. And then we'll use sniper with a numbers payload. We'll say that we want sequential starting with 0000. And actually, let's read the hints. Yeah, so it just wants us to do that. And we'll go up to 99991. And actually, we might be better off doing random. Type random, how many? What is that? 10,000? Yeah, 10,000. That's gonna take forever, y'all. Oh, no bueno. Bad idea. Discard. Let's do sequential. That's what it wants us to do. That's also bad. Let's see what it says. Okay, brute force verification code. Well, we're not having any luck doing it this way, so I'm just gonna make a word list here quick. I think we could use brace expansion 0000 through 9999. Echo. Am I doing brace expansion wrong? There we go. And then for num in this, do echo num into, we'll do double up. It's going to be in port swigger authentication, and we'll call it pin 4digi pin.txt. Done. Cat 4digi port swigger authentication 4digi pin. Perfect. We'll use that as a word list. So we'll switch this over to simple list. We're going to load our 4digi pin. We'll get rid of that. And we'll start the attack from there. There, now we're getting the 4 digits as we want. And we're looking for a status code of 302. So we'll sort with largest up at the top. And eventually we should see one bubble up there that lets us log in, hopefully. Be a long wait if it doesn't work, because we're doing about 10,000 requests now. While we're waiting for this, I'm actually going to take it into Hydra. See if I can't do it quicker in Hydra. And that actually, I might not know how to do that actually. Yeah, I do. So we just need to put some kind of random value in for that, and then for password, we're going to say the 4-digit pin list. We need to select the host or provide the host, which is going to be in our positions. We can pull it from here. And it's going to be HTTPS post form. We're sending it to login to username. How do you provide cookies? Where is my cheat sheet? There it is. We'll search for Hydra. Nothing here. So that was pretty useful. Probably should have kept that open so when I find it I can add it to my cheat sheet. I believe it's -C. Let's look for -C. That's for a file. I thought we could provide a cookie with that, but that turns out to be incorrect. Goodness. Isn't there just a simple example on the internet somewhere about how to do this? Providing cookie in Hydra. Alright, brute force HTTP with Hydra and Python. So it looks like we're providing it after. Okay. Let's go back. Username. We're not using a username. We are only providing MFA code equals pass. The reason I'm doing this, so it's gonna, like, you just need to provide a username. Hydra doesn't like it without a username. For password list, this is gonna be our dictionary or our word list, and pass is the variable to pull from that word list. The /login2 is the page that we're hitting with a post request. We're using HTTPS post form, and the MFS, probably should change that to MFA. MFA code is the name of the parameter, and we're passing our word list into that. The next thing that we want to provide is what message we see, or how to identify failures. That would be in our history here. If we look at the login2 under post, we should have an example of that. It doesn't have a response there though. Let's go back down a few times. Post login2. That's not the one we want. Post, that's get login2. Post login2. So I guess we could say a failure is 200, and then we want to provide some extra info, such as h equals cookie session equals, and then we'll use our session from the attack that we're running. And we'll add that as well to verify Carlos. And then that's it. So let's give that a shot. This should go much quicker if it works. We'll see if it works. So syntactically, it's not failing. That's good. 16 tasks, 10,000 tries, 625 per task. Yesterday we were getting about 420 per minute, so if this is running concurrently, it should take about a minute and a half to get through the whole word list, so hopefully we find it before then. Maybe we should try success equals 200 to see if it's actually reading the response code. Otherwise, we can put the failure message in there instead of 200. Yes, it is reading the response code, in fact. So we'll switch that back to failure. We just gotta wait and be patient. Maybe Hydra is behind. Maybe Burp's already done. But no, it is not. We are 117 requests. So this would be awesome if I had Burp Pro. I don't. I have Burp Community. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm using Burp for it. We'll just use Hydra to speed things up a little bit. Bomb bomb. This is taking forever. Ang31D, I agree. It is indeed taking forever. Luckily, Hydra's letting us know that it could take up to 3 minutes. Oh, it's been 3 minutes. It could take up to 11 minutes, which is a lot quicker than Burp. Burp has taken much longer. Yeah, apologies. This may not be the best room to be streaming, but you know, I'm not out here to make content per se. So I do enjoy sharing what I'm doing with people, but I'm just studying. Are you sure the session will change directly after success or through a redirection? Yes. So we can see. That's my attack window. If I look at previous requests, I have valid credentials that I use to test this out on. So right here, post to login, get login to, I think this is the one. Yeah, so this is where I'm testing valid credentials, which are Wiener Peter. And then a successful, oh, this is the invalid code. 1 second here. Login to with a 302. I said yes, but watch me put my foot in my mouth. In fact, let's sort by status. So I believe this was an example. Yes, this is an example of us hitting the login to endpoint with a correct code, and then the immediate response is 302, and it forwards us to my account. The session, I guess maybe I need to yeah, thank you, Ang. It's always good to question assumptions, right? So I definitely appreciate that. Yep, seems to change location and redirects to my account. Yeah, and then it provides a new session, but I think that's only after it's successful. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. It'll take 11 minutes max. But I guess let's sort by request now and see if we can follow that series of requests. Definitely something to look at. Definitely something to look at. So we're getting login. Our request is, or our session is X6 ending in 6F. And then we post X6, 6F, still the same session. It does have us change sessions here. But we're already past this. I did all this up to this point in the UI. And then this is what I'm brute forcing right now. No, that's the get. So let's see if it changes session on us again. We're getting with SA8L. And then we're posting with SA8L. So I do believe it'll work. I guess we'll find out. Sorry for the, so instead of a fail on 200, we could use a success on 302 and the location, right? If we would follow the redirect, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point. We could do that. I guess, is there a benefit to doing that, or is it just a different way to do the same thing? I'm willing to change it, but I mean, we're already halfway through, so changing it now, if it's an important thing to change, it could save some time. But if it will work this way, potentially, we might be giving up on something that's already working. I don't know. I'm learning. I'm definitely, not claiming to be an expert in this. This is something I'm learning. If we would need to follow redirect, then an extra request would be send, which may take longer though. Okay. Yeah, I don't believe I'm following redirect because, I'm actually looking for the redirect. That's my key for success. Just guessing. Okay, cool. Well, hey, welcome to the stream. I don't know if we've been here before. Actually, your first time chat, so welcome. And if you're not already in LinkedIn or Discord, I just wanted to share or extend an offer to you. Recently, I started studying pen testing about the past year or so. I've been really studying aggressively. So me and a buddy from high school, we started this little online study group, and we just met every once in a while to keep each other accountable. Hit the follow, but never seen you live, I guess. Cool. Well, I'm live now. You are journeying into pen test. Yes, I am. I actually just got a job as a web app pen tester, and that's why I'm hitting Burp Suite right now. It's an area that I haven't looked at too much. But anywho, what I was saying is that I recently got the OSCP, and I did that through an accountability group that was originally just me and a buddy. We opened it up to the public, and now there's about 600 people on it. So if you have any goals, or if this is something you want to, if you want to join our community, essentially, I would love to have you join. I can just drop a link to the Discord if you're interested. And if you're not interested, I guess you don't have to click the link. I think that'll work. Yeah, so I just clicked that link and it does work. So feel free to join us there. We'd love to have you. Yeah, just kind of a nice little community. Everybody's very supportive. We try to keep it clean. Anybody that's being toxic or, anyone who's not trying to be a valuable member, we just give them the boot, right? That doesn't mean that you have to support us, but just be kind, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Just join doing the requirements. Right on. Well, glad to see you joining the group. So tell me a little bit about yourself if you're comfortable, or I guess you'll share that in Discord probably. There's an introduce yourself channel. So feel free to drop some info about yourself in there. And then we just started meeting twice a week actually. And it's not that everybody has to meet twice a week. We just have 2 meetings now. So with different time zones, now that it's kind of more global instead of just local, we have a meeting yesterday around lunchtime in the US, which ends up being a little bit nicer of a time for people overseas. But also we meet tomorrow at, I think it's 8 o'clock CST. We just changed it from 7:30 to 8. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to join us. You don't have to participate if you don't want to. You can definitely just lurk and see what it's about. But the format of the meeting is essentially we go around and discuss what our goals were for the previous week, what we did to accomplish or how we fell short on those goals, and then what we plan on doing for the upcoming week. And it's been a pretty nice booster for productivity for me. Usually I can study hard for a while and then I fall through after about a week or 2. So the accountability, going on the meeting and saying I didn't do anything this week, has been a good motivation tool for me to get back on track. So that might be helpful for you as well, or maybe you just want to be part of a good community. Got about 2 minutes left, and we're nowhere yet. We don't have any answers yet. This is taking forever. Goodness. Did they give me a word list? Yeah, this just might take a while. Or it's going all wrong. Yeah, we didn't get anything out of Hydra. Are there any headers that we should have sent with it that we didn't? Nothing that I can see. Send it through burp and verify the request maybe. I don't know how to do that with Hydra. I guess we could set up like a proxy and use proxy chains. Hydra to burp, I mean. Yeah, Hydra to burp. I mean, would you do that through proxy chains? How would you do that? It should have a proxy setting. Oh, no crap. Nice. I didn't know you could do that. I'm trying to remember how we can look at that. I think it's in our proxy settings here. Options. We're using localhost 8080. Look at that. It's already set up properly. And I think HTTP would work. We don't need authentication. Now we just need to set this up. So our host is going to be this. For the port, we'll be using 443 because it's HTTPS post form. Make sure we select one. Username, we'll just leave that alone. Password list. We'll go into here. And then let's turn Intercept on, I guess. I think we could drop this. And then we'll hit start. And see if it works. See if the proxy works. Hydra underscore proxy. By default, it seems, as Hydra is painful to get the syntax correct. That's a good way to validate. It's going to slow down the speed, but for request verification, it would not be an issue. Alright, I'll check out that link. I don't think this is working. This might be broken. Hydra, your name. Let's see what command it sent. So our proxy's not in here anywhere. It's like that proxy setting didn't take. I guess we could just go ahead and stop it. Did we not provide? Yeah, the command's all jacked up. Alright, we'll just get out of there. And I'll go based off of what you said here. I want to add a proxy to my Hydra command, but I already read the manual. It says to add Hydra proxy, but I don't know where I need to add it. Why don't you just populate your proxy chains conf file and run proxy chains Hydra? Honestly, that's probably a little bit easier. That's kind of what I was thinking too. So let's take a look at proxy chains. And we'll set this to 8080. Proxy chains. Seems like it's not working. Socket timed out. Alright, I'm going to take a break. I actually have to run to the bathroom. So I should be back in about 5 minutes, maybe longer, who knows. But I'll do my best to get back in 5 minutes. We'll see you then. All right, back now. I was doing some reading while I was in the bathroom, and I think I just messed up the configuration. So we'll go back into proxy chains 4. And instead of a SOCKS 4, we'll just add HTTPS. And we'll try it like that, I guess. We have our proxy configured here. And then we'll see, let's see, Intercept is on. See if we can intercept a request or two. Nothing. Invalid item in proxy list. Huh, I must have been reading an old article as well. SOCKS 4. Right, quit. I wonder if I have to specify proxy chains 4 maybe. It hasn't failed yet. I'm not getting anything here. Socket error or timeout. Is that correct? I mean, are we using the port 8080 per host? Maybe something about a certificate. I mean, we could, instead of using burp and proxy chains, I guess we could just use Wireshark, right? Because we're just looking at trying to inspect what's going on, right? Although it's probably going to be encrypted traffic, we might not be able to see it because it's HTTPS encrypted. So I can see the use case then for needing to use burp. Check options so you've not checked the SOCKS 5 options. Do you mean in the proxy chains configuration? I guess, yeah, try to see if it works with SOCKS 5. Let's see. We'll do 2 to dev null, and then see if we can do like verbose on here. It's able to resolve the address. Oh, that's a good point. We could do that. So let's try that. Options, import, export, CA, export. What format does it want? Too many errors. So we're getting errors. Let's see if we can figure out what the errors are at least, because this seems like it should work. But I'm assuming there's some kind of certificate validation problems. Maybe we can say like ignore certificate or something in Hydra. I think it's the private key that we need. Is that, do you know if that's accurate? RSA keys. This is where I've used it before. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. Actually, it was in protocols. HTTPS. Maybe it was TLS. LMNOP QRS TL TLS. RSA keys deprecated, keyless, TLS, pre-shared key. So we can put a pre-shared key here, I think. Where did that? Oh my goodness. CA certificate, and that's a private key. Oh man. Let's see. Wait, why would we use the burp stuff? That makes no sense. Because we're not going through the proxy. This is like totally not making sense at all. Let's check Hydra options one more time. See if there's a way to ignore the cert. Ignore. Oh goodness. Maybe it was capital V. We'll try with capital V and see if we can get a more specific error. Decrypt SSL traffic and Wireshark. Yeah, but I would need to get the key, wouldn't I? And so to get the key, I'm not sure where it's stored. Well, trying to do two things at the same time, and that's not making too much sense. So sending it through proxy chains doesn't make sense. If we send it just through Hydra, or if we don't send it through proxy chains, we should be able to see it in Wireshark. And then how could we get the key from Wireshark? We would need to proxy the traffic first in a way. Well, so if we're proxying the traffic, then there's no need to examine in Wireshark, I think, because our proxy would be able to handle the certificate between the client and the proxy. So our proxy would be receiving decrypted traffic already. But for some reason, it is not working to proxy it. So, I mean, that's probably something easier to figure out than where we can find the key to decrypt from Wireshark. Let's say Hydra through burp using proxy chains. This is, I think, similar to the link you sent me. Let's see what's going on here. Want to add a proxy to my Hydra command. I already read the manual. It says to add Hydra proxy, but I don't know where. Yeah, this is exactly the forum post you sent me here. I want to add a proxy, yada yada. Hello, having the same question here. Question is only 1 month old. The Hydra proxy and sisters variables are environment variables. You must add them to your console like this. Oh, we just added in console. Then type export Hydra proxy. So let's try that. Export Hydra proxy equals 127.0.0.1 on port 8080, and then we'll run our command. And after the 10-second wait, hopefully we see something here. Proxy definition is neither of the kind type, auth, target port, nor a file containing proxy entries. Alright, we need to figure out what the syntax is expected to be. Okay. I don't think Burp uses listeners' HTTP requests, so we need to specify HTTP. Error, proxy defined, but not valid, exiting. Let's see, HTTP is an invalid type. Let's try SOX 4. Good call, Ang. That's, oh, HTTPS, possibly. We'll try it. Well, I guess that would be invalid too. I think there's a delay, but yeah, when I did HTTP, I think you're right, it should have been HTTPS. And also, it's attacking HTTP post forms, and we want it to be HTTPS. I don't know why it's doing that. I mean, it seems to be working, but Intercept is not doing anything. Maybe it's not working. Check your scope and burp. Oh, good call. Target. Scope. I do not have a scope defined. I mean, it's running, and it's apparently using the proxy, but the requests are not actually showing up in the proxy. Maybe you're right about the scope. So let's add this to scope, and then we'll make some changes there, and we'll just use the domain. And then we'll go back to proxy. I mean, it should be catching these, I would think. Oh, that's way slowed down. 10 hours. Oh man, okay. Yeah, so it's gonna slow us down. Must be an option we are not thinking of. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, it's running through the proxy. Oh, we just killed it. Eh, whatever. I guess we'll just wait for this to finish. Probably already has the answer in it somewhere. Maybe not. Is this paused? It's just going slow as hell. My goodness. Yeah, instead of waiting on this then, I guess we'll move on to the next module. Sort by length. Good call. Let's take a look at the length. Oh, did it time out? I wonder if the lab timed out. Community is slow. Yeah, I agree. You don't happen to have a pro key for me, do you? I think we enter 4-digit security code. Why is it different here? So it says please enter incorrect security code. Please enter incorrect security code. What's the difference between these two? Why is the size different? Oh, we're getting a new session token here. We must have destroyed that session. It's getting mad at us. This is crap. Well, I'm not sure why the session token changed on us. So set false on the string instead. I'm not sure I know what you mean. Set false on the string instead. Oh, for this attack maybe? Use the invalid security. Why does it want us to change session token? Is this a persistent thing? Started right around here. We got into 214 and then it's like, yo, change your session, dude. And it's been saying that ever since, so we might as well just stop this attack and get rid of it. We're gonna need to do it all over again. Great, wonderful. Nothing I like better than practice, right? Invalid code. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. It's good to get some confirmation. We want to... Oh, now I have to remember how to do this. First, let's turn proxy on. And then we'll say, I don't know, Wiener Peter. We'll log in. So this needs to stay the same. On the get login to, we change this to Carlos. Forward it. And then we brute force here. Go ahead and forward that. And we'll change this to Carlos. And let's do Hydra. So we need to change our session to this. So we'll set the failure to the message, which was invalid. Incorrect security code. Let's give that a try. Malding is the only way. Yeah, I sure hope I don't start losing hair or getting gray hair from this. Although, I always thought that the salt and pepper liquid would be kind of cool. I mean, I'm grateful for what I have, for sure, but... got a few bald people in my family, so who knows. Between that and ripping my hair out, I could... Oh my gosh, it's using our proxy. So let's go back up here and we'll just set it to null. That should speed it up quite a bit, hopefully. Oh, how do we remove an environment variable? I've never had to do that before. Salt and Pepper, the old music group. Yeah, exactly. Salt and Pepper. Remove environment variable Linux. Unset. Is it import the opposite of export? It doesn't say how to get rid of them. Unset. I knew there was a way to do it. Unset. Now we should be able to do it. And I'm going to add the big I at the end so we don't have to wait. Oh, you're on top of it, Ang. That's right. Unset environment name or variable name. This time is 24 minutes, so you know, I'm noticing that my overall my bandwidth is like being used pretty heavily, probably from all the stuff I'm running at the same time. It's funny because I'm reading the answer and it's still taking forever. Let's see what we got here. Maybe we'll find some tips in this video. Turn the music off. Oh, I'm not even going to be able to hear this because it's through remote desktop. Ooh, come on. Oh, because here, we'll copy this. Put it over in my browser. And then we'll take a look at community solutions and we'll run it here. Now we can hear it too. Maybe. Come on, YouTube. You can do it. You can do it.
Hi guys, we will solve the lab 2FA instance request to verb repeater before and click the login button. Of course, that's an incorrect security code. Now switch back to verb proxy and open the HTTP history tab and look for a post request to the endpoint /login2. Here, this one looks nice. Send this request to verb intruder and switch to verb intruder. Open the positions tab and click the clear button. Here, replace the value of the verify parameter in the cookie header to Carlos and set a mark to the value of the MFA /code equal. Add. Okay, switch to the payloads tab and shows the payload type brute forcer. In the payload options section, delete all characters and leave the rest and click the button start attack.
Ah, he's using Burt Pro. Cheater.
Okay, maybe it takes some time. Click status.
Just a little cutaway in there. No big deal.
We received
I'm just going to see if that works. 0692. It seems like it's generating a new one each time, but it's worth a shot. Let's cheat our way through it. Broken logic. Let's go to burp, turn intercept off. What was it? 0612? I'll get the music playing again so you don't gotta listen to me breathe. For his 0692, 692. Oh 69 0692. Let's turn intruder on or intercept on 0692 and we want to verify Carlos. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait, I guess. Schnikes. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to do. We're just gonna have to wait. Or I could skip this and wait until I have Burt Pro and come back and do it when I have Burt Pro. Lucky bastard. Yeah, exactly. I wish I had Burt Pro or something. I wonder how much it costs. $500. That's is that for life or is that a year? Subscribe. 1 year. Oh my gosh. That's nuts. That is absolutely insane. You know, we could use Zap for this. So Zap might be a better way to go because I don't think I have it installed though. We'll install it. anytime I run into like a simple brute force like this and I can't get Hydra to work, usually Zap works pretty good. Oh, it's apt search Zap. Did I just see 4K plus dollars? Yeah, Fire Eyes. OMG. I was just checking out the price of Burp. I wasn't sure if it was like subscription based or it was a one-time fee. I was considering purchasing it for a one-time fee, but it's a yearly subscription. I racked it up to 10 years. What's wrong with Fuff? I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. It would work just as good as Hydra, I imagine. You're not the first person to say that, though. Fuff is pretty good, according to the hearsay that I've been hearing. But let's see what we can do with Zap. There's nothing wrong with Fuff. It's just, to me, it's another command line tool for fuzzing. It may be faster, but the problem we're running into is not speed. The problem that we're running into is that our command line tool is not... Our command line tool is not working to brute force, and we have minimal visibility. And I'm a noob. There, I said it. I'm a noob. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted me to say? I want to persist session. I'll just do that. Get out of here. No. Manual Explorer. Let's go ahead and grab this. Also, I really like the heads-up display. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Zed Attack Proxy. It's a wonderful tool, and honestly, I would use it all the time if it had a similar feature set as Burp. To be honest, I probably just need to figure out how to use it better. But ever since they added the heads-up display, I have been a huge fan. You don't have to switch back and forth between the application and your browser. It just brings the application to your browser. So we can turn break on or turn it off. We'll say we want Wiener Peter, and we'll add an invalid. Boom. Go back to my account. We'll turn break on. Wiener Peter. It's gonna bring the request right up here, and then I can tamper with it right from here. I don't need to go back and forth. I absolutely love this feature here. We're gonna set this as Carlos, and then we will step. Cool. So we've created a code for Carlos. Now we need to fuzz the code for Carlos. We'll go ahead and turn it on again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Log in. And then instead of handling it here, we're going to send it to a brute force. Conveniently, it's already right there. We're going to send it to fuzz. And then we'll select our payload. Add a payload. I've already created a file that has all possible numbers in it. And it was in Portswigger WebAcademy. Authentication, 4-digit pins. Open it up, add it, and then click OK. Make sure that our headers are all correct. Specifically the cookie. We want to verify Carlos. Oh, it's not letting me change it now. What the heck? There. Now we replace that with Carlos, and we'll start the fuzzer. Look at that. Look at how quick it is. It's just like Burp Pro, you guys. but this smart hacker seems to know his way around Zap. I've used Zap a couple times. Zap's UI is not as user-friendly as Burp, which is painful. It is. I think it is, because I feel the same way about Burp. And I'm familiar with Zap because I've just used it a few times for brute forcing, knowing that Burp is a little bit slower. But the heads-up display, you guys, I can't push that hard enough. My first exposure to Zap was, I think, right before the heads-up display. And then I was just kind of like, this is trash. It's not as intuitive as Burp. That's exactly how I felt. But once they added the heads-up display, you take the tutorial. Oh my god, having the tools in the browser and not switching between windows, it's awesome. Gotcha, yeah. Yeah, it's good to, I don't know, good to be able to use whatever tools you have available to you. Like if I get a Burp Pro license, I would use Burp for sure. Yeah, the UI is definitely quite a bit different. And I mean, there are definitely features in Burp that are easier to find, I guess. But also they just flat out might not exist in Zap. Boom, we found it. We found the code. Look at how easy that was. 0992. We're gonna just close out of this. Continue, turn this off. Oh my gosh, come on, let me do this. 0. Alright. Let me Alright, we'll turn it off. I think it's off now. Unset break. There we go. 0992. Turn numlock on. We're going to catch it because we need to set it to Carlos. And then we'll step it in. 302 found. Step again. Continue. Boom. Challenge completed. All we needed to do is switch over to Zap. So, yeah, there's a little Zap tutorial on the on the Burp Suite Portswigger WebAcademy. We'll get rid of that though. It was good. It was nice using it, but I really need to learn how to use Burp. But also, I'd be interested to learn how to use Zap as well. I think it'd be cool to master both tools, because really, ultimately, who gives a crap what tools you're using? It's the techniques that matter, and being able to find the techniques in every tool is the important thing, in case you run into a situation where one tool works better than the other, or you don't have access to one tool. Yeah, I should have went for Zap right away. Next time I see brute force, I'm going right into Zap. Solve the apprentice for 2FA. There we go. What are we at? 2 hours in and we got the first challenge done. Let's go. All right, what's next? Flawed 2-factor verification logic. Oh, that was actually the second one. Okay, so we're averaging 1 hour per, and now we're on to an expert challenge. Brute forcing 2FA verification codes. As with passwords, websites need to take steps to prevent brute forcing of 2FA verification codes. This is especially important because the code is often simple 4 or 6-digit number. Without adequate brute force protection, cracking such code is trivial. Some websites attempt to prevent this by automatically logging a user out if they enter a certain number of incorrect verification codes. This is ineffective in practice because an advanced attacker can even automate this multi-step process by creating macros for Burp Intruder. The Turbo Intruder extension could also be used for this purpose. Okay, let's learn how to use some extensions. We know a username, we know a password, we need to bypass 2FA. This lab's two-factor is vulnerable to brute forcing. You've already obtained valid username and password, but do not have access to the user's 2FA. To solve this, brute force 2FA code and access Carlos's account page. Assumingly there's going to be some kind of lockout. What was his password? Montoya. We'll get rid of Wireshark. We won't be needing that. We'll get rid of terminal. We're pretty much done with that. And we'll make sure Intercept is turned off. Montoya. Cool, we have credentials. Now we just need to brute force this. Better break out Zap again. Let's see what happens here. Oh, see, now here's an example where burp is needed. This is an attack. I think what's happening here, we have the CSRF token, and I think that'll change after each request. So this is the reason I learned how to use burp originally, actually, because I couldn't figure out how to do this in Zap. Send to repeater. Let's go ahead and send this one, and then I think it'll tell us. Oh no, it didn't make us change it. YM8F. It stays the same. Okay. So is this just a straight up brute force again? That would be kind of silly. Time to learn with Zap now. Yeah, exactly. But I did jump the gun, so I was thinking this this token would cycle, and that was their brute force protection. I guess maybe the session token is. That might be more accurate. But they didn't have a header saying to change the session token. I guess let's try again and see if we get an error. We'll try with a different code. 2222. Send. Yeah, so here's what's happening. After 2 requests, it's saying your session token is no longer valid. Please use this one. And that is where we would use grep extract and burp. But I don't know how to do that in Zap. So let's figure out how to do it in Zap. They usually don't have the same challenge twice. All right, cool. That's good. Grep extract in Zap. Find text with regular expressions in Zaps. That's Zapier. Extract token from response. I am new to Zap. Could someone please assist me with the... Oh, here. We'll bring this over so y'all can read it with me. I'm new to Zap. Could someone please assist with OWASP Zap with extracting multiple authentication tokens from a response and use it for the next request header required? Login, get. Perfect. This is exactly what we want to do. You can use script variables like as said here. I gave a 3-hour workshop on Zap automation and authentication recently for ADDO that was recorded, and the videos are being added there. So let's see what's going on with this. The script console add-on allows you to run scripts that can be embedded within Zap and can access internal Zap data structures. It supports any scripting language that is supported by JSR 223, including EMCA script, JavaScript, Zest, Groovy, Python, Ruby, and many more. That's awesome. What's Jython? Is that like JavaScript Python? Java Python. Python in Java. That makes sense. Scripts may run with the same permissions as Zap, so do not run any scripts that you do not trust. Good to know. Don't be downloading scripts off the internet and using those. Uh-oh. I have myself full screen in the other window. It's kind of trippy. Let's get rid of that. Sorry guys, I lost chat. I don't see it anymore. Ooh. Yeah, I don't have access to chat. What happened? I don't know what you guys are saying. Yeah, it's just not meant to be. I can't chat. pop-out player. Let's try that. Maybe it'll show chat in there. It does not show chat in there. Sorry guys, I can't chat anymore. But we'll just keep working at it. Let's see if we can get this done. Script variables, custom script. Seems like this is going to be more work than I want it to be. So I think I'm actually just going to skip this challenge. We know what we need to do, but I'm limited. I'm bottlenecked by Burp Community Edition, and I don't think this is a great time to be developing a script for Zap, because my intention right now is to learn web app pen testing. So scripting in Zap is not really accomplishing that. It could be something fun. It could be a nice side project, but what I'm going to do is just skip this challenge until I get Burp Pro someday. Wish I could get chat back. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. Ah, there it is. Cool, I got chat open again. I don't see any of the previous messages, so if I missed anything, feel free to resend it. We are in the authentication vulnerabilities. We just got through multi-factor minus one of the challenges, and now we're looking at the other authentication mechanisms. I'm going to take a 5-minute break. It'll actually be much quicker than that. I'm just going to go up and grab some water, and then I'll be right back. We'll see you in like a minute and a half or so. All right, back. Given that it's 5 o'clock, but who needs to sleep anyway? I do. I really sleep is required. If you watch me stream without sleep, totally different than with sleep. So vulnerabilities and other auth mechanisms. In this section, we'll look at some of the supplementary functionality that is related to authentication and demonstrate how these can be vulnerable. We've also created several interactive labs that you can use to put what you've learned into practice. Cam seems to be frozen. Ah, yes. I see that. Let's see. Is the screen frozen too? No, just the camera. Yeah, let's see if I can fix that. My light's actually off, so let's see. I'm gonna have to go. Bear with me for just a second here, guys. You're gonna see my ugly ass background, how messy it can be. The guitars I got laying around. We want to deactivate when not showing. So now it's going to not show up. Oh, there we go. We're back. Cool. Now it's not going to show up for like a second when I switch from break back to main, but it's better than being frozen the whole time, right? Vulnerabilities and other authentication. Oh, goodness gracious. Come on. You son of a gun. Trying to get it so I can see chat as well. Your cam's not working. I've done so much offensive practice that I got a little bored of it. Been taking a break from it for over 6 months. Oh, a guitar guy. Not surprised. Not surprised by what? Anywho, vulnerability. Are you typecasting me? It's the long hair. Makes me look like a guitar guy. Vulnerabilities and other authentication mechanisms. We've already read that. In addition to basic login functionality, Most websites provide supplementary functionality to allow users to manage their account. For example, users can typically change their password or reset their password when they forget it. These mechanisms can also introduce vulnerabilities that could be exploited by an attacker. Websites usually take care to avoid well-known vulnerabilities in their login pages, but it is easy to overlook the fact that you need to take a similar step to ensure that related functionality is equally as robust. This is especially important in cases where an attacker is able to create their own account and, consequently, has easy access to study these additional pages. Alright, so we're looking at like a password reset or other auxiliary functions that are related to the login page. Keeping users logged in. Offensive rockstar. Yeah, exactly. Now I'm the way I usually look at it, I didn't hang out with a lot of people growing up, so I have a lot of hobbies that are things you can do on your own. So I like to do magic tricks, I like to play guitar, I like to play piano, I like hacking computers. Other things you can do on your own time by yourself. I like to meditate. That's pretty cool. It feels good. I didn't learn that one until later when I really needed it, but it's definitely something you can do by yourself that makes you feel good. Oh, Rubik's Cube? I can solve a Rubik's Cube in like 2 minutes. So, yeah, I guess there's a combination of deception and impressing people and being alone in the hobbies that I have. Play guitar in the old times, but forgot to play after not playing for 15 years. Well, it's like riding a bike, man. You just got to pick it back up. I'm sure you could do it. So I just noticed ANG31D. Is 31D like a unit number for the military or something like that? If so, thank you for your service. Yeah, but you need to put in the time. That is true. Yeah. You definitely, if you're doing any lead parts or anything like that, or if you're playing acoustic guitar, your fingers kind of like puss up again after a while and you have to get those calluses built up again. That always happens to me if I take a long break. Let's get back to this here. Keeping users logged in. A common feature is the option to stay logged in even after closing the browser session. This is usually a simple checkbox that's labeled something like remember me or keep me logged in. This functionality is often implemented by generating a remember me token of some kind, which is then stored in the persistent cookie. As possessing this cookie effectively allows you to bypass the entire login process, it's best practice for this cookie to be impractical to guess. However, some websites generate this cookie based on a predictable concatenation of static values, such as the username and a timestamp. Some even use the password as part of the cookie. This approach is particularly dangerous if an attacker is able to create their own account because they can study their own cookie and potentially deduce how it's generated. So I'm going to stop reading right there. I'm going to see if we could just get this one done because I think I have an idea of how this will work. I don't even think we'll need burp for this one, but I'm going to use burp for this one because I want to use the decoder. I really like that in burp. Oh, Angel. Okay. I didn't realize it was Leet Speak. Angel Dust. Oh. Okay, Faith of the Moor song. But a bot took it. Yep. Yeah, when I saw Angel Dust, that's like PCP or something, right? I could see where the Twitch bot would be upset about that. You know, just trying to make it family friendly, that's all. No offense, nothing personal. Which I can appreciate. When I was a kid, I wish there was stuff like this. I would have learned so much more and probably ended up in a lot less sketchy situations. So we have Intercept. We're going to turn it off. We're going to log in as... We'll probably turn the proxy on as well. Log in as Wiener Peter. Stay logged in. Never save. Accept the risks and continue. IRC and BBS. Ooh, yeah. I don't think I ever made it onto IRC or BBS. I'm not quite that old. I'm sure I was around for that, but I did get on some chat rooms and stuff, but it was like web-based chat. maybe using IRC as a back end or something, but to me it was just a website front end. So we have our login. We're going to take a look at our, oh goodness, I forgot to capture it in Burp. We'll still use decoder because I like it. We could probably just, I have a feeling it's going to be base 64. Stay logged in token. Decoder. Smart decode. Oh, it's not. It is. The heck is this thing? I don't know what that is. Let's try it again and we'll examine it a little bit more close in Burp. We'll get rid of Zap. Probably not going to need to brute force for this challenge. We'll turn proxy on, turn intercept on, check. Let's turn intercept off until we actually need it. Do the side by side. It seems a little bit less clunky that way. You know, if anybody on the Burp Suite development team is watching this, what we really need is a heads up display for Burp. That would be sick. Oh my gosh, why is this not working? There we go. I wonder if it's our session token. We'll save that somewhere like a notepad. I suppose I better say like session equals, otherwise I'll forget what it was. And we'll go ahead and forward that request. That's going to be our same session, and then stay logged in. We already have the stay logged in on here. Let's go ahead and send that to decoder. And let's see if it is the session token. Base 64. 51 ends in 70. Not. It is not. What is this? HSTS. Arg. 32 characters, MD5 hash. Oh, that could be. Good point. It's already decoded in the right pane. What? Okay. Decoder. It's already decoded in the right pane. Check proxy. Okay. And that was our GET request. That's our session. Let's sort by number. It'll probably be like the last one we did. When you intercept or history and then mark a text, then check to the right. Are you talking this WebSocket accept here? Select, highlight a text. Which text? A text. Oh, okay. So select this one, for example. Oh, sick. Yeah, okay. Whoa, we don't even have to go to decoder. That's awesome. That's a nice feature. That's really awesome. The more you know. I guess MD5 is not reversible, right? So are we looking at like Hydra to try to do a wordless attack on this damn thing or what? I'm still very confused by what the heck this string is. Okay, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe we just need to change this to Carlos. So let's try that. We'll go into decoder. We'll change this to Carlos. And then we will encode it as base 64. We'll save that. Set it as our session token. Use crack station. Oh yeah, good point, Fire Eyes. No point in using my own resources. That did not work. I guess we would probably need a new session. Carlos, stay logged in. And then we'll log out, see if we can get a new session token. And then, oh, look at that. We could just paste it right in here. And then we'll go to my account. No bueno, did not work. All right. I guess let's use crack station and see. Well, I know that the answer is Peter. So that brings me to another idea that I've had in the past. A tool where you provide a hash and a known password, and then it tells you the encryption method. If you know of something out there that already does that, oh, what am I doing? You fool. If anybody knows of something like that, let me know, because I think it would be super useful. Okay, it is MD5, way to go. But now we run into a problem where I don't think we know Carlos's password, do we? So we are gonna have to brute force. We'll have to do some kind of processor, I guess. Oh man, what is this? Practitioner. It shouldn't be that hard. Brute forcing a stay logged in cookie. Brute forcing a stay logged in cookie. So let's get ready to brute force. We'll set up this should work. We don't want the stay logged in. We'll get rid of that. We have a new session. And we'll turn on burp. We'll also turn on the intercept. And we'll do split window again. So we'll say Carlos, test, and then login. And we have a session. No, this isn't right. Well, let's steal this session. Because so far, if we need to have like an empty session or a session that's not already linked to that stay logged in thing, and then we're going to want to go to one of these requests, I think, that already is logged in as Carlos. So we'll probably look for a login 302. Set cookie, stay logged in. My account. That seems promising. We'll send that to intruder. Hash ID -M. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, it identifies the hash. But so hash ID doesn't always work, I've noticed. It does work quite often, and I think that's based off of character set and character set and length. But it seems like every once in a while it has iffy results for actually identifying the proper hash. And then on top of that, I'm not sure if it can identify iterations, for example. Unless, is there a way to provide a password to hash ID and get more accurate results? Maybe it's just a feature that I am not aware of. So we're going to want to do a brute force. Did I send that to intruder? Send to intruder. And then we'll drop that, turn intercept off, and clear all. We are going to do this one here as our position, and then load our word list. Payload processing. You can define rules to perform. So let's see what we have for processing. Add a prefix, and we want our prefix to be Carlos : oh, but first, yeah, we'll have to add something before that. We need MD5 encode, but that's encrypting, so we need encrypt or hash. MD5. Okay. Move that up. So let's just walk through this quick, make sure we're doing it right. So ultimately we had Wiener, MD5. So to go from a password to that, and then it's base 64, I think. So we go from password to MD5 to prefix. So we start with the password, we hash it to MD5, we add a prefix, and then we base 64 encode it all. Cool. Just wanted to double check. Makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. Encode is base 64. And then that looks good. Or let John guess it. That's a good, yeah. I usually, going to Hashcat examples, Hashcat guess is pretty good too. I've seen a lot of people use the M switch all the time religiously, but Hashcat, it has a pretty good guessing, I don't know what you call it. It guesses pretty good. And there have only been a few times where I've had to specify which mode to use in Hashcat. You could just provide, you know, the word list and the hash file, and it usually does a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and try that. See what happens. Something's jacked up. These are all working. .302 found login. Oh, what am I sending it to? My account. Oh, okay, so it's redirecting us to login because it is invalid, assuming it's invalid. So we're gonna be looking probably for a different length. Or let's put a grep match on here for login because we don't want to be redirected to the login page. Oh, well, it must be a special character. Let's get rid of that. No, that's what was wrong with it. Okay. Let's go ahead and remove. And then we'll add it again. Now we should be able to see it. There we go. This payload processing feature looks powerful. I've never used it before. It's very intuitive as well. So this is my first time using it. I was able to just kind of figure it out. Thank you for the heads up, though. It would have taken me a while to figure out that that was MD5. Then we're getting all these so far are redirecting us to login. So I would guess that we're not at the, we haven't found the correct one yet. Nice. Yeah, being able to do that, I think, is probably the best way to just look at a hash and be like, oh, that's MD5. Yeah. It's a lot quicker than trying to figure it out with a tool for sure. So we either got something wrong here or we're just not to the password yet. I guess we still have about 30 passwords to try. We'll let them all go before we decide we did something wrong. MD5 is 32 characters. SHA-256 is 64. Easy to remember. Oh yeah, that is pretty easy to remember. I can tell some basic types. I can, if I'm on a Windows box using Mimikatz to dump hashes, I can usually identify that it's an NTLM hash. but I still let Hashcat figure that out for me. Is this one? Is this it? Is this it? Did we get it? Now, here's the problem. I don't know that we can see the password now. I guess we could reverse it and figure out the password that way. But let's just steal it. Let's add it to our current browser session and get logged in as Carlos, pass this challenge. Oh, we did it. It already counted it. Okay, cool. Yeah, that payload processing, I've never seen that before. It's pretty cool. Base 64 only uses A through Z lower or A through Z upper, 0 through 9, plus equals caret. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. So we got this one done. Next up, even if an attacker is not able to create their own account, they may still be able to exploit this vulnerability. Using the usual techniques such as cross-site scripting, an attacker could steal another user's Remember Me cookie and deduce how the cookie is constructed from that. If the website was built using an open source framework, the key details of the cookie construction may even be publicly documented. In some rare cases, it may be possible to obtain a user's actual password in clear text from a cookie, even if it is hashed. Hashed versions of well-known passwords are available online, such as CrackStation. So if the user's password appears in one of these lists, decrypting the hash can occasionally be as trivial as just pasting it into a search engine. This demonstrates the importance of assault in effective encryption. Offline password cracking. This lab stores the user's password hash in a cookie. The lab also contains a cross-site scripting vulnerability in the comment functionality. To solve this lab, obtain Carlos's Stay Logged In cookie and use it to crack his password. Then log in as Carlos and delete his account from the My Account page. Alright, let's do it. What's going on here? This is interesting. No more burping out loud, guys. I've been doing this all stream. I'm not trying to, like, for some reason when I get on here, I don't know if it's all the talking or what. It could be something to do with vaping and the way I'm sitting, but I just constantly have to burp when I'm on audio. Maybe I should get some tape. Maybe she would want to put some tape on my mouth. That would be fun. Sorry, I should probably keep this PG-13. One young woman, fed up with her workmates burping out loud in the office, took matters into her own hands. So let's leave a comment here. We'll figure out the cross-site scripting first. See if it's just as easy as script. Oh. Alert. XSS. And script. Name. Wiener. Wiener at ps.com. Non. Comment has been submitted. So oh, that's not gonna work. We'll just go back to the page and we'll see if our comment posted there. Hey, woohoo, we have cross-site scripting. Awesome. That was pretty easy. Let's go ahead and put that in our notes here so I don't forget. Script, XSS payload, and script. Now we need to figure out how we can use the exploit server. I feel like we're just gonna have an access log as usual. Yep, we have an access log, so we could do script, XSS, and script. So we'll need to include this file, or we could use JavaScript to do some kind of request to here. Let's try that. That seems a little bit easier. We'll just say hello world here. We don't need to change that. Leave it as is. Store. And we'll say this is our exploit server. Copy. And we're going to add as parameters. So I want to say username, or what are we trying to steal here? We're trying to steal some kind of cookie or token. Stay logged in. Stay logged in equals yeah, stay logged in cookie. Now let's see if we can access the cookie directly. Script alert document.cookie script wiener. Let's see if we can just leave some of that out. Oh, it wants it. Wiener at ps.com. Back to blog. Cross-site scripting. Okay. So there is no document.cookie, but that might be because I'm not logged in. No, there definitely is, but it's protected by HTTP only flag. How are we gonna steal that cookie? Any ideas? Ironically, we haven't done the cross-site scripting path yet, so this might be there may be some stuff in there that would be useful in this lab. I mean, I'm somewhat familiar with it, but there are just the simple payloads. I've only ever used the simple payloads. Let's see. Cross-site scripting to steal cookies. I'm off. Hope to catch the next stream. Have a good night. Hey, it was good to meet you, Angel D. Hopefully you have a good night, and we'll see you next time around. Hopefully we see you around Discord as well. I'm actually just gonna jump onto here and see what it says. Cross-site scripting. Boo 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 boo. Proof of concept. Various types. Reflected. So that's what we're using, is reflected. Actually, no, it'd be stored because we're storing it in a comment. Data from untrusted source and includes in data with later HTTP requests in an unsafe way. The data in the request might be submitted to the application via request, for example, comments on a blog or a post. Simple example, DOM-based cross-site scripting. DOM-based arises when an application contains some client-side JavaScript that processes data from untrusted sources in an unsafe way. Impacts, how to find, content, dangling markup, how to prevent, common questions, how to prevent, dangling markup, content security policy, cross-site scripting contexts. Exploiting cross-site scripting vulnerabilities. Here we go. Stealing cookies is a traditional way to exploit cross-site scripting. Most web applications use cookies for session handling. You can exploit cross-site scripting vulnerabilities to send a victim's cookies to your own domain. Then, manually inject a cookie into your session to impersonate the victim. In practice, this approach has some significant limitations, such as this one here. I'm gonna have to go. I think I'm actually gonna call it a night. I'm getting a phone call here, and I got one earlier as well, so I need to stop ignoring real life. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll continue back here when I start streaming again, and I hope to see you there. Have a good night.